Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses. Hey, and this is a review on the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series, right? So, the first thing I want to say about this is it was very graphic, it was very disturbing, it was very hard to watch. And I think they structured it pretty scientifically, pretty geniusly, because that if you can't make it past the first two episodes, you might as well. If you can't make it past the first 20 minutes of the first episode, then it's a wrap, because it only gets easier to watch after that. Now, what really got me was that sixth episode. I believe it was the sixth episode with Tony, the deaf gentleman that Jeffrey Dahmer um, took from this earth. It especially hit me hard because my grandmother, is hard of hearing. Shout out to the deaf and hard of hearing community, man. But at the end of the day, I have been doing a lot of research on Jeffrey Dahmer since high school. I saw pretty much all the documentaries. I saw all the interviews, which they recreated in the show. The thing that really got me the most intriguing thing about this whole documentary is how much they really tried to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer, how much that they tried to make it seem like he was going through everyday average um, struggles, being rejected by his mother, growing up in a very toxic environment, and having a father. I don't want to speak ill about the dead, but having a father that was not necessarily the typical what every little boy needs, which is a strong father with a lot of control and dominion in his household. That is not what he had. I don't. That's not what was depicted. The fact that this was a very historical fiction piece, right? Because there were a lot of things that I'm not saying I'm a Jeffrey Dahmer expert or anything like that, but there were a lot of things that I didn't find, obviously, because, they had the resources to be able to do the research. But as far as him dissecting animals with his father, as far as him um, having a father who fantasized about taking advantage of women sexually and fantasized and imagined himself taking the lives of other people. I had no idea about that. Even though when I was watching these interviews on my own in high school, I always thought, like, how are you stomaching this? Why are you sticking by your son's side so hard? Not because it's your son, but because you want to know all the little intimate details and things like that. And just even from a child standpoint, like I said, I was in high school at the point that I watched these interviews. I was thinking, like, this man is getting off on this. Like, he really enjoys hearing this destruction and all these graphic, intimate details. He doesn't seem, number one, he doesn't seem bothered. Number two, you could just feel it through the screen, even though it was 20 years, 30 years ago. It was 20 years ago at this point. You seem like you're getting off on hearing all these details. You know what I mean? But I think the historical fiction aspect of it was brilliant. I think it was brilliant. I think one of my favorite parts that hit me the hardest was I'm gonna put some spoilers in here, so if you plan on watching it, skip this part for like 2 minutes. But there was a part where the family from Laos, I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but the Asian family from Laos was getting harassing calls from strangers about the lawsuits and about the movements that the family was making And the last one they showed, it was the two police officers that had allowed that little boy, the 14-year-old that he had taken from this earth, they allowed him to go back into the home of Jeffrey Dahmer after they found him disoriented and discombobulated and naked on the street. They allowed him to go back in the grips of Jeffrey Dahmer, which was brilliant to put in there. I mean, that opened the door for it to be speculated that the police knew about his actions prior to him getting caught way longer before he actually got caught, arrested, and institutionalized. But at the end of the day, yes, that part was brilliant. It was brilliant, and it really it was very controversial, but I think it was very necessary. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a series. I don't know if they're going to do possibly Aileen Wuornos, which would be that would be cool too. They hinted that they were going to do John Wayne Gacy, which that would be cool too, the Killer Clown. But let's go back to it. We have Niecy Nash. She did an excellent job, and she was looking like a whole snack. Facts. Black don't cracks. The dad, the dude who played the dad, that episode 10, the last like 3 episodes, he acted his ass off, bro. When he saw Jeffrey Dahmer, or when he saw the Evan dude, when he saw his son's dead body, how he was like, I was like, oh, I felt that. I wanted to cry my goddamn. So he killed that. But it was pretty graphic. It was pretty disturbing, and I really like how they structured it, how they broke down certain people's episode. I mean, certain people's cases as far as what happened. Like I said, the one that hit me the hardest was the deaf guy, Tony. R.I.P. to him, who ended up getting killed. I like how they showed when the dad was writing the book. They were sending all the proceeds to the family. And the intention was set when he was saying that he wasn't really writing the book for money. He was writing it so other parents could see the signs, because, again, this is the 90s. So we didn't have the technology and the resources to be able to educate the people. Because, I mean, as far as him seeing the signs, it was a perfect storm. I don't want to really talk about the actual person. I really do want to keep it on the Netflix special. But at the end of the day, what else can I say? Would I recommend it? I mean, if you don't have a strong stomach, if you have emotional problems already, if you are depressed, if you're bipolar, if you have PTSD, if you lost anybody to murder or a killing or anything like that, that was similar, like if they got stabbed or anything, definitely wouldn't recommend it. Now, the last 2 episodes, the fact that the last 3 episodes, there were no, well, I think it was like the last 4 episodes didn't have any graphic display of any killing or anything like that. So it was really it was more of a watchable part of the series. Of course, that last episode, episode 10, shows the demise of Jeffrey Dahmer, which it was great, but it could have been a lot better. What I would have done was, when the dude who killed him was striking him, they should have made it so every time he hit him, they showed each victim. They flashed it real quick. Boom, psh, boom, Tony, boom, Charles, boom. That's what they should have did. That would have been up. But the black guy who played the dude who actually deleted Jeffrey Dahmer, he did a brilliant job. He did a pretty cool job. I think they should have incorporated him in the story more. They should have made him like a mailman or something like that, just so we could be kind of familiar with his face throughout the series. or he could have been trying to sell him some weed. If they fabricated a lot of things, they should have fabricated something to get him more incorporated, like every other episode. Or like he could have approached him on the street, like, "Hey, bro, you wanna? Nah, I'm not even with that, bro. Get away from me." Something, or saw him on the bus, and they had a little conversation or something. But they really did, like I said, going backwards. They really tried to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer and make him. I don't even want to say likable, but they tried to just put him in put the viewers in the position where we could kind of identify with some of the issues he was going through. His mother was allegedly taking all these psychotropic medicines while she was pregnant with Jeffrey Dahmer, which is documented. But they incorporated that. They tried to show what I do like about it, though. Important part. They showed how socially awkward and socially inept he was in high school. And in between, they didn't show that he became socially aware and emotionally intelligent enough to become a predator to the point where he was able to do what he did, able to lure all these men and boys to his dwellings, to his home, to his grandmother's home, and to different places to get what he wanted to get done. They probably should have mentioned that, but I mean, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. I really don't like that phrase, but a lot of people may not have caught that. He went from this socially unaccepted, awkward, weird character in high school. Again, I'm gonna give you another spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear it, skip the next minute. But there was a scene in one of the first couple of episodes where they were dissecting animals. I can't remember what it was. In the class when he was in high school, and he went back and he went back and he asked the teacher if he could have one of the one of the carcasses of the animals they dissected. Right. Now, prior to this, he had told a joke in class, and everybody laughed, and all the little football people, they laughed, all the jocks and all the cool kids laughed at his joke. So he approached one of the football players, and he was like, "Yeah, man, Jeff, you're funny as hell. I didn't even know you were funny like that." And he was like, "Hell yeah." But at the end of the day, bro, you wanna come to my crib? You wanna slide? Cause the teacher just gave me an animal. We could just dissect it together. You know what I'm saying? He said it like he was inviting him over to play video games and drink some grape soda, and he was like, "What? You wanna go to your house so we could dissect a cat?" No, nigga, I will not be doing the who the for what? What? You weird ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He was that socially ignorant. But then as he grew into his adulthood, you know, he supercharged his social skills. Supercharged his social skills. Say that fast 3 times. But he supercharged his social skills and was able to lure these people to his home over and 17 times, probably more than that, to his home to delete them. Now, at some point, yes, it wasn't a, I don't believe that he had any remorse at all, you know, because he was so into himself, because he was reenacting what he really wanted to do, dealing with his mommy issues and dealing with having a father that wasn't a full father. You know what I mean? Him constantly being triggered and saying the weird stuff that people say. Like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave me just like my mom." Like, what? Yeah, I just said I need to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna be back. Like stuff like that. I like that. I like that. How the people came together. They had Reverend Jesse Jackson in there. They had a lot of important elements that were very entertaining. It was very. If you study a little bit of, I mean, everybody's a psychologist, right? Everybody studies. Everybody knows what gaslighting means. Everybody knows what a narcissist is. If you actually studied and dedicated yourself to that world of psychology, then you're going to get a lot out of this, right? But at the end of the day, I would give it a cool. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars for sure. The actresses, the actors, they all did their thing. The 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 fictional part, the writing, the script. I'm glad it wasn't written like a typical TV show where they had all the zingers and all of that. But they showed a lot of things that would be very disturbing that I would highly recommend you not watching if you like I said, if you have emotional issues already. If you don't respond to certain things like I didn't, then of course that's cool. But this is not. This it's on the graphic side. It's probably like a good. It's a 7 out of 10, bro. They didn't show him like. They didn't show him taking anything out of anybody's bodies, and a lot of that I think it was because the families, which I hope they gained some kind of. I hope they were given some kind of compensation, which you really it really doesn't matter. But a lot of it I like. The most important part I think was the people of Tony, and the people of the 14-year-old boy. Those were the most two important um, aspects of watching this. Seeing the impact that he had, seeing how everything started, and him understanding that he didn't think of himself as a sick person until it was over, pretty much. I mean, of course, we know everybody doesn't do this, but him saying it was a compulsion, like smoking cigarettes, you know what I mean? That's not. I don't even want to go into that. But that's it, man. Would I recommend it? Like I said, if you can stomach it, yes. It, half of it is graphic. The other half, most of it is graphic. Not half, most of it. The first 6 episodes, 7 episodes involves some kind of display of that, of Jeffrey Dahmer being Jeffrey Dahmer. But out of the 17, I think they only show like maybe they showed a lot, like 7 people getting harmed. That's still a lot. That's still a lot. But yeah, that's it, man. That's Aaron Moses on the bank. Get the bank. We the bank together, man. Life is in the breath. Breathe it in. Peace.